Well, would you look at that? One of the bright points, one of the unexpected bright points of Marvel Phase 5 is effectively being phased out. It's interesting, right? You know, off of the back of that atrocious Marvel's disaster from, what was that, November of last year? $206 million off of the back of a $300 million budget. We'll get the tax numbers eventually and see how much of a disaster it was, but it effectively served as a swan song for Brie Larson in the MCU. Nobody even remembers Monica Rambeau, but the one bright point was Iman Vellani. That was the safe praise that anybody could afford this show, the movie, by saying, you know what, everything about it was crap. The villain looked like a stay-at-home mom cosplaying a gangster for Halloween, tending to be fake hard. The plot made absolutely no sense. The mechanics between the three superheroes was constantly breaking all types of space and logic. But Iman Vellani was charming, and she kept her cringe to a minimum, you know, Captain My Captain aside. And on the interview circuit, she was one of the most charming ones that was out there. She kept it 100. She loves the character of Ms. Marvel. God love her, somebody has to. Wanted to be faithful in her interpretations. She immersed herself in the source material. Even though it was the show I'm talking about, the Ms. Marvel show, was the lowest viewed Marvel TV show on D+, and then it also got an ABC run that dozens of people watched. She didn't denigrate any of the people not watching the product. She just urged them to give her a chance. Give the character a chance because she cares about it a lot. She didn't push any identity politics. Generally speaking, out of everything that came out of the Marvels, people were cheering for Iman Vellani. Not necessarily wanting to see more of Ms. Marvel, but they wouldn't have been put off by the prospect of it. Weren't exactly hyped about that mid-credit scene of trying to put together the Young Avengers, thinking how cringe that would ultimately be. Like, outside of having Kate Bishop, you'd have to stomach having Cassie, Scott Lang's daughter, that abomination of acting and a charisma vacuum. But there's also another takeaway that you can get from this, because apparently Marvel cut Iman Vellani's Ms. Marvel from Daredevil Born Again. So this could also be a punishment for Vellani and her comments about how the box office for the Marvels wasn't all that great. Not really my concern. That's a Kevin Feige thing. We're just happy about what we have right there. She didn't quite go to bat, and she wasn't as vitriolic as you would expect most Marvel and Disney alums to be. She just simply kept it 100, kept her head above water, and moved along. Perhaps that's Marvel trying to set a tone. Or this is also Marvel, after they've given so much care and dedication to the revivification of the Daredevil IP, putting Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio through the paces of both, you know, Echo and Hawkeye in the case of the Kingpin, and then Daredevil having to be associated with, you know, Echo as well on that atrocious She-Hulk. They're really trying to build this up for something. So perhaps they're going to be taking it seriously? Yeah, I don't really know. A rumor claims that Marvel Studio cut Iman Vellani's Ms. Marvel from the upcoming Daredevil Born Again series, okay? I don't really know how she would fit in something that was supposed to be so street level, so that's why, you know, when I seen that headline, it's like, oh man, she's not getting any more work, but then why would Ms. Marvel be a part of that outside of just the whole interconnected universe? But what was so special about the original Netflix Daredevil show was they kept it at street level. So okay, if you're trying to play off of that, why would she be around over anyways? The X account Daredevil Updates reports Kamala Khan was reportedly considered to appear in Daredevil Born Again. However, her father Yusuf Khan will appear in the show instead. What set up the potential for a cameo to go ahead and test the waters? Weird. As reported by Matt McGloin at Cosmic Book News, Kamala Khan's father, Yusuf Khan, played by Mohan Kapoor, does appear in the teaser trailer for Born Again, showcased at D23. Okay. McGloin also suspects that Ms. Marvel was scrapped from the show as part of the massive overhaul that was announced last October. Yeah, where it was oh my god, what was it? They had 8 episodes of the 13 or 14 planned episodes already filmed, and Marvel looked at it and it was so atrocious that they couldn't do anything with it, and they had to scrap all of it. That was in the Hollywood Reporter, the Variety article that absolutely savaged Marvel at the time, that ended up spurning them to fire all of those activists that were there. Boy, that was a fun time. The Hollywood Reporter's Boris Kitt reported that the show was undergoing a significant reboot. In fact, Marvel canned writers Chris Ord and Matt Corman, as well as the show's planned directors. Now, you would think, because there has been a successful Daredevil show recently, why not bring those guys back? Well, okay, the mastermind behind behind the Netflix Daredevil show, Drew Goddard. Yeah, unfortunately, he's stuck in James Gunn's DCU writer's room across from a bunch of atrocious hacks. So there's no getting Drew out of that situation. I'm back on Daredevil, where honestly, the world would be a better place if he could return to, but whatever. They would bring in Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead to direct the series, as the duo previously worked on Loki season 2. Oh my god, that's terrible. And multiple episodes of Moon Knight. I don't have an opinion outside of people saying that, yeah, the first episode was intriguing and then it went completely off a cliff. But I watched coverage of Loki season 2 and holy god, was that bad. Anyways, Dario Scardapane, okay, who worked on Punisher, and Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan was brought in to showrun the series. Okay, that Netflix Punisher, because I hear decent things about that. And Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, depends on what we're talking about. Was that the Zachary Levi vehicle that Amazon had? I didn't hear actually anything about that, so maybe no news is good news, especially when it comes to, people employed at Marvel. Okay, McGloin noted the original plan for Born Again was to have the show more in line with how Daredevil was portrayed. Oh my god, and She-Hulk Attorney at Law and Ms. Marvel, I want to die. However, both of those shows failed to garner solid viewership numbers, and thus Kevin Feige decided to retool Born Again to make it more in line with the popular Netflix series. Holy shit. Imagine being that stupid where you're thinking, you know what? We have Daredevil. Okay. Arguably Marvel's top 5? Definitely in the top 5 most popular characters. And hell, have one of Netflix's most successful, most popular shows ever. And instead of making a theoretical 4th season, no, we want to go ahead and put it in line with our fourth wall breaking comedy and whatever in the blue hell Ms. Marvel was supposed to be. Holy shit, man. Marvel, what are you guys doing? However, both of those shows failed, yes, to garner solid viewership, none of which, yeah, we'll be getting a season 2. Aw, shucks. He added, out went the goofy She-Hulk garbage, and we can guess Ms. Marvel along with it. It's also likely that the box office bomb that was the Marvels will likely affect the decision to remove Ms. Marvel from the show as well. Yeah, and to be fair, it wasn't really her fault. The fact that it got changed from Captain Marvel 2 to the Marvels lets you know who is ultimately at fault for that disaster, just saying. And who was supplemental, was brought on to help shoulder the load, but shouldn't really be dragged for a performance. Okay, in fact, Feige indicated that Marvel Studios might be distancing itself from a number of characters that were introduced in Phase 4 that did not perform well at the box office or on Disney+. Oh, thank God, because there were so many characters introduced in Phase 4, and a lot of them can't even remember, right? In an interview with Gizmodo, he was asked if moviegoers would get to see a multitude of characters introduced in Phase 4 in the Avengers films. Feige responded, nah, man, we got to make some money around here. Holy, I rarely speak on absolutes like that, right? And the notion of never, ever seeing someone again. We've got Tim Blake Nelson in a movie coming up next year, right? So I'll never talk in absolutes like that. However, he did admit, the truth is, though, yeah, I'm going to have to tell a story in these Avengers movies. There won't be room for 100,000 characters in it, so choices will have to be made. And if you're looking forward to seeing Marvel's Katie, America Chavez, Binary in any of the future Avengers films, you might be out of luck. Just saying. So choices will have to be made, that's for sure. But that doesn't mean you won't ever see anybody ever again. Because in the words of a famous Disney studio under the same umbrella, nobody's ever really gone. In an interview with Inverse, he made good on those comments by noting, yes, Marvel Studios has no plans to pursue a second Eternals film. Shang-Chi 2 also canned. There's a lot of stuff that was officially put to bed, unlike what Star Wars likes to do, with the rare exception of the Acolyte, where they'll announce some stuff, but then quietly put it to bed, like the rumors we're hearing with Taika Waititi's goofy-ass movie that, oh yeah, we love Taika, we love to work with him, it's still on the back burner, it's in production right now, but we're really focused on the upcoming Rey movie and Mandalorian and Grogu, because those are money makers. It's not to say that Taika's movie would have been great. Oh my god, remember Thor Love and Thunder? Yeah, exactly. However, he did note that Marvel does plan to reference the events that took place in the films moving forward. There are, and I think you can see maybe in a trailer we've released recently, an acknowledgement to some of those events, certain giant things that come out of the ocean. Yeah, because that Celestial from the stupid-ass Eternals is apparently supposed to be the source of adamantium, which it just screams, you know what? We had no plan to ever reference this again, and we just made the justification of this up right off the top of our heads, and I'm sure that'll play into something maybe potentially in the future that we're still writing right now. But get excited for the next projects that we have, okay? Like Kevin Feige's a mastermind and everything's so well planned out until years go by, then he can eventually admit that there was really no plan on the books and we're all just kind of flying by the seat of our pants. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.